Checking out Sortly. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up an item with a different unit of measure outside of the default units field that we offer. Currently, Sortly supports up to 20 different units of measure, and if you have suggestions for others that you'd like to see added to the product in the future, feel free to reach out to us. Just support@sortly.com. So to update the current unit of measure or to add an item with a unit of measure, all we have to do is click on the Add New function, and we're going to click on Add Item. Now from this view here, this is going to be the quick add. This is what I'll focus on today. I'm going to add an item into the system. We'll focus on milk as an example. Now down below you'll see that there's a quantity field, and currently it's set to a unit of 1, and the unit of measure is currently set to unit. As I talked about earlier, this currently is the default setting within the system. But if we click on the drop-down field here, you're going to see that we have about 20 different units of measure that you can focus on your end specifically. So within the system, you can select the unit of measure that you wish to work with that corresponds to your item more likely, and then you can ultimately use that moving forward. One thing to note about when you're setting up a unit of measure is you initially have to create the item in that specific unit of measure. There's no way for you to change that unit, for example, gallons to milliliters, at a future point within that item. So whatever you create initially, you're ultimately stuck with within the product. Now in this case, another high-level overview or insight for this item is that if you plan on using decimals, let's say fractions as an example, the only way to do so is to select one of the units of measure outside of the default unit field. This gives you the opportunity to add that decimal place where you could put fractions, 3, 4 level or decimal points after that specific item. You would be able to add that information in. So in this example here, I'm going to go in and hit gallon. I can then go in and indicate maybe I have 25.576 gallons that are available to me. I can then create that item or hit the add button here, and that information would then be added in real time. So you'll notice now that we have the gallon as the unit of measure as opposed to just units here. If we click into the item, of course, we're going to be able to see that the quantity is in gallons. So when we make an adjustment, you know that the quantity is being reduced by the gallon unit of measure specifically. So keep that in mind. You can kind of see that set up there specifically. Another thing to notice here is, again, you're not able to change that unit of measure. So there's no area here where we can actually convert that. And keep in mind also that your min levels, once you create those are ultimately going to be in that same format as well. So instead of you having a min level that's a whole number for, like, if you're using the units field, this would be a minimum level for the gallons option. So you could put in decimals for the specific min level now instead of having to have a whole number like you would with a traditional unit field. So do keep that in mind on your end. You'll also notice on your side that once you have added this item into the system, you will see that there is a unit of measure here added. So now we have 21,000 items in the units format, and then we have 23.5 gallons in the gallons format. So it also does correlate specifically to your account in relation to what unit of measure you go with. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.